Hey everyone, John Pynakker with the Mojave Valley Daily News. Welcome into the Huddle. Glad you're here. I'm here with my guy, Matt Curtis from Anderson. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Anderson Ford is our sponsor here for the Huddle. So every week on Thursday we sit down with Matt or Matt Hanrahan from Barron will be in sometimes, and we talk about the week's games coming up. So we got 4 teams on a bye this week. I probably closed it. Nope. We have the Panthers, the Browns, the Packers, and the Titans are all on bye. So the Packers aren't playing. You just want to take this, and I'll go hit the road.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that matters to you,
that's
right?
the only thing that I can
The
chime
green
in
and
on.
yellow.
All right, so we're going to go through some games. At the end, we're going to blast through some games that they're not really going to be.
Anything of exciting or anything that matters.
Yeah, so we're going to go through a little bit more on these, and then towards the end we'll just blast through some quick hitters at the end. So let's start with tonight's game. Both of these first 2 games we're going to talk about, they have a big name running back out.
Yeah.
So let's start with tonight's game, Cowboys and Saints. We just heard a little bit ago that Alvin Kamara is definitely out for tonight. Cowboys lost to your boys last week.
They did.
A good close game.
Close game. Very
then
close game.
The Saints, they lost, but they got whooped by the Bills.
They've been struggling.
Yeah, I was reading today. It said they have never lost 5 in a row under Sean Payton.
Oh wow.
And so it don't look good for them tonight. I'm thinking we're gonna see a first. But so what do you think? I mean, without Alvin Kamara, did the Saints have a dream?
I don't think so. I mean, the only consistent thing about them this year has been their inconsistency. I mean, from one quarterback to another, and you know, with what last thing I saw was they were talking about Taysom Hill going tonight.
Yeah.
So I just don't see it. I don't see a receiver core that he's going to be able to throw the ball to. So if they're going to run Hill in there and try to run it more as a wildcat offense, that would be the only thing that makes any kind of sense for me with them. But I don't see them, taking anything away from Dallas.
Yeah, and their defense just isn't good enough to stop all the people that Dallas has.
I think the points changed on that game too. I think it's 6.
Is it?
Yeah,
that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think it went to 6.
I'm sure nobody's betting on the Saints, so
No.
they probably had to boost that up. Yeah, it was up 4.5, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's at 6.
Yeah.
Does it matter to you that Coach McCarthy is out? He won't be there for the Cowboys.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I think you've got too many key players that know what they're doing on the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a solid team.
Sure.
I mean, all the way through the season, they've had some close games. The last week was a very close game. Had some close games that they've lost, but for the most part, they're still a strong team. And I mean, they're healthy right now.
Yeah, and I really think that if you have the Saints and you don't have Alvin Kamara, so you can't rely on that running game. If you're going to rely on Taysom Hill to be your running back, quarterback, everything. He's not that good of a passer. He's serviceable, but he's not that good. And without Alvin Kamara, it really comes down to shutting down Taysom Hill's running. And
pretty much. I mean, Hill's pretty accurate on 10-yard passes.
Yeah.
He can't throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to bring your safeties up. You're going to be able to basically play
Press.
Man, lock,
Yeah.
and keep the receivers on the line. You're not going to be able to. Yeah. He's not going to have anyone to pass to.
anytime that he's got to make a quick pass, and that's covered, it's going to be a problem. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we're both on the Cowboys. The other one is Vikings-Lions. They believe that Dalvin Cook is probably not going to play, but this could be another one of those games where, okay, sure, Dalvin Cook is the guy, in my opinion. He's the guy for Minnesota. They at least have a quarterback that can get the ball down the field, but I don't know that they really need him against the Lions. The Lions are it's a division game, and they always seem to bring things up a notch when they're playing. The Lions have been close the last couple of weeks. They've been hanging in there. They lost to the Bears by 2 on Thanksgiving, and realistically, I think they probably should have won that game.
Yeah.
The Lions should have, but Vikings lost to the Niners by 8. The Niners have been looking real well, so sticking within a touchdown of them, not too bad.
Yeah.
What do you think happens tonight?
I think Lions are a mediocre team at best. I mean, they've had a couple of moments where they're good. Don't lose track of Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Even if you do lose Dalvin Cook, you've got a couple of running backs that they can still run, by jury. And so far this season, no one's really been able to lock down Jefferson. I mean, he's had some huge games, and when you do try to double team him, now you're opening up the rest of the field to some of the other guys. You're opening up the run game. So I would say Vikings.
That Lions defense is kind of a sieve. Vikings defense is the opposite. I think Justin Jefferson is third in the league in receiving yards. So he's definitely their biggest threat. I think that the Vikings, according to this, they're 7-point favorites. To me, that seems like a pretty easy one to pick.
Yeah.
The Lions, it seemed like they were getting there, and then now it's just like, have they just said, all right, well, we're just not that good, so this is who we are. I love their head coach, Campbell. I think that he's fiery, and if he can get anything out of him, he will, but I just don't know that they're still in it.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think that they're contenders. They don't show the mindset. They don't show the aggressiveness to be a contender for the rest of the season.
Okay. All right. This one, I go through the list every week and I go, all right, that's not a big game. Let's pull it down here. That nobody really cares. Let's pull it down here. This one I almost pulled out, but I thought, no, let's leave it in here. Eagles at the Jets. The Eagles lost to the Giants last week, 13-7. He scored 7 points on the Giants. We don't look at the Giants and go, this is this defensive juggernaut, beast, whatever. We look at the Giants and go, well, they're in that bottom 4 or 5 teams, or they were anyway. So they lost to the Giants. The Jets beat the Texans, but the Jets were down 14-0 for a good portion of that game to the Texans, who I think most of us consider the worst team in football. Maybe they're with the Lions.
I would agree.
So maybe this is just a close game between 2 really bad teams. I think when you look at these teams, do you think one of them could legitimately be a good team?
I think the Eagles have a little bit more talent.
Yeah.
It's whether they can put it all together and make it work. But I do think the Eagles have a little bit more talent on that team. If they can just start to get it all to connect and jive a little bit more, they could probably do something and make a little bit of headway, a little bit of progress. Do I think they're going to do anything this year? No. But could they start building that program? Yeah, I think they've got a little bit more talent than the Jets. I would believe that they could take the Jets out. I don't see it being a barn burner. I would say this is going to be one of those games. It's probably not going to be a very exciting game.
That might be the understatement of the year.
It'll be just like last Monday, 7-3 and out punts in a row.
Yeah.
So we could be looking at the same type of game this week. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Probably more of a defensive game, if anything.
First one to score wins?
Possibly.
All right. So do you think Eagles then?
I would say Eagles.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, now this one, the opposite. This should be fun. Chargers at Bengals. For a good portion of the year, we thought the Chargers were one of the better teams in the AFC. Justin Herbert back there and Austin Eckler and those guys. Bengals have been surging the last, 4 in a row or so? Including they whooped the Steelers last week.
They did.
And it was over early. Chargers lost to the Broncos. I still haven't been able to figure out who the Broncos are, but that did kind of take some of the luster off the Chargers season.
It did.
Dropping an egg like that. But I've just been really impressed with the Bengals lately.
Mixon's unstoppable right now. He's looking like a top of the food chain running back right now. And then you go over to the Chargers side, you've got Eckler over there. I think the Chargers expected a lot more out of Mike Williams this year than they're getting. The guy's either a boom or a bust. He has a great game or he has nothing. And I think Herbert's really depended on him trying to get the ball to him. And there's been a lot of drop passes, a lot of out of positions where it's either supposed to be an outside over the shoulder pass and he's turning to the inside, or he's not getting position on DBs. So he's definitely not helping Herbert out. But I really do think that he was supposed to be a bigger part of the game plan, and he hasn't done so. Eckler's a good running back. I mean, it's a matter of, is the line going to do the job for him? Yeah. And it hasn't. He hasn't been putting up the numbers and getting the holes and stuff that I think they were really expecting him to get this year.
But don't you also think that Eckler, Eckler has to have a good passing attack with it, because if it comes down to just him, he's not able to carry the load. He's not, Derrick Henry or one of these guys that just put it on my back and I'll pound it out for 3 or 4 yards every carry. He has to have a legitimate passing attack along with it.
That's going to spray the defense. And that's what they don't have, unfortunately. I think that's a part of Herbert's frustrations. I mean, you see him. It was funny. I was making a joke the other day. He finally, his temper's starting to come out a little bit, and I said, those are the things he must have learned from Rivers before he left.
Right?
But yeah, I mean, there was a couple times late in the game, whether it was a bad pass on his part or a bad route run or whatever the case was, his temper was starting to come out. And I think when that happens, you don't have that, the Chargers back in the day with LT and those guys that you could give the ball to and ground and pound and kneel, and these guys that it's just, we can give the ball to them, the line's going to get them, move the D line a little bit, and we're going to get 3-4 yards at a time. They don't have that right now, and if they can't get some offensive weapons downfield, it's going to lock Eckler down.
And don't you think this is something that could end up imploding on them if they start to continue to falter, and the quarterback's getting upset and yelling at each other and the teammates and that? That they could just take them completely out of their game.
Exactly why Rivers still doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. Yeah. I mean, the camaraderie of the team. If you got the team captain, the guy they all look to, is yelling at you rather than high-fiving or making corrections and not playing under that pressure. Being cool-headed out there and able to regroup and move on to the next play, the whole team suffers.
Yeah, that's too bad.
And the big thing with this game, I mean, this is a big game for both of these teams.
Yeah, for sure.
This game means a lot to both of those teams.
Yeah, for sure. So, who do you got?
I'd go Bengals.
Yeah, me too. They're hot right now, and Joe Burrow's getting it done, and Mixon, it's a good balanced attack. All right, Giants at Dolphins. What the hell happened to the Dolphins? Where did they come from?
Gaskin woke up.
Yeah, I guess so. It's been crazy for them. Now they've won 4 straight. At one point we were like, well, yeah, they're an also-ran, but now they look like they could end up being it depends on what happens with the Patriots, but they're right there just below them. So they beat Carolina last week, 33-10. Carolina isn't who they were earlier in the year. We know that. Giants squeaked past the Eagles. Kind of a surprise there for me, but Dolphins are 5-point favorites at the Giants.
Yeah. I would agree. I think, right now the Dolphins defense is starting to step up. They're starting to play a little bit more shutdown football. You're not able to run on them like teams have in the past. But the offense, they do have some weapons downfield that they are able to spread the defense out. And Gaskin has woken up. I mean, Gaskin's come to the party. He's, when they're getting the balls in his hands, he's making stuff happen. Yeah,
the Dolphin defense has been looking real well too, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They did great against Carolina last week. I think that we don't know if Daniel Jones is going to play yet. I guess there's still some questions on that. But even if he's in there, if you can put some pressure on him, keep him contained in the area there, I don't think the Giants can beat you outside of Daniel Jones having a great day.
Right.
And I don't see that happening against that Dolphins rush.
Yeah. And Tua's playing well. I mean, he's looking better now. He's looking a little bit more comfortable, I would say, now than he has in the past.
It seems like the game is kind of slowing down for him. Now he's able to see more of the field and
that's what it takes. A lot of it we've talked about in the beginning of the season. A lot of it takes those reps. We talked about how starters don't play during preseason anymore, and then they come in and they have a horrible first game. I think it's finally he's getting enough time in the saddle to where he's under center enough, and he's getting enough looks and enough reps to where he's kind of got that downfield vision now to where he's letting things play out rather than panicking. I noticed a few weeks ago, if something wasn't there right away, he wasn't going to his check guys. He was just kind of taking off or going into panic mode. Now he's stepping back into the pocket. He's been able to scramble outside a little bit more. So I think it's a comfort thing there too. And when your quarterback's comfortable, the team knows it.
Yeah, and you can tell and feed off of that.
Oh yeah.
All right, this might be a fun one. Ravens at Steelers. Ravens, again, just like the Cincinnati, has quietly climbed the ranks and are one of the, I would say one of the elite of the AFC.
Oh, right now, yeah, absolutely.
Steelers fallen completely off the map. I don't know who you blame. If you blame injuries, if you blame the old quarterback, if you maybe Mike Tomlin isn't firing him up like he used to, which I can't believe because he's a fire and brimstone guy.
Yeah.
But they just have not looked good. Like I said earlier, they got whooped by the Bengals last week. Ravens had a hard-fought game against a talented team, although their head case, the Cleveland Browns, and they beat them. But the Ravens have quietly snuck in there and be one of the elite teams.
The consistency. They've been consistent, and they've gone out and they've played football. You know, I think the Steelers have had a lot going on. You know, you had the offers with Tomlinson in the beginning of the season and through the middle of the season. You know, possibly him leaving and going for a ridiculous dollar amount contract back into the college realms. You know, that was kind of finally put to bed. But they've been injury prone pretty much all season, losing Smith-Schuster. You know, Claypool's been there. He's making catches, but he's not making the big plays. You know, tight end, I can never pronounce his name, Freiermuth, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, he's been stepping up a little bit, and Najee Harris looked horrible last week. You know, the line, whether it was the line wasn't opening any holes for him, but I mean, there was a couple of plays where he was accelerating to a hole, and the gap was there, and he was kind of bouncing out before he even hit the hole. Roethlisberger, you know, you don't want to knock the old guy, but you know, there's absolutely no movement there. Even the commentators last week were talking about it during the game that they were surprised a couple of times how he was pretty agile and he stepped back up into the pocket.
2 steps.
But it's 2 steps. You know, it's not, you don't have the ability of, you look at some of the other guys in the league that are his age or older, and Rodgers and Brady and some of these guys, and, you know, they're not the most mobile guys in the world, but they know how to read that pocket when the pocket's collapsing.
Whoa. My guy had a rushing touchdown last week.
I know. But he's still old. But
it's his birthday today.
Oh, is it
Happy
really?
birthday, Aaron Rodgers.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, Rodgers he reads the pocket, and that's one thing I don't think Roethlisberger is reading that pocket anymore. When the pocket starts to collapse, he's basically every time is 2 steps forward, and it doesn't matter where the pressure is coming from. It's 2 steps forward, and the announcers, you know, we're talking about the commentators last week. So you know, I think in the either now or in the offseason, at some point, the Steelers need to look to make a change at quarterback. Roethlisberger's been there for him. He's been a phenomenal quarterback, a lot of Super Bowls. I mean, he's really taken that team to the next level. But at some point in time, you gotta know when to call it quits.
He used to scare you. You know, he used to scare you knowing that you're going to be facing Roethlisberger. Nobody is scared to face Roethlisberger anymore. It's stop Najee Harris, put a little bit of pressure on him, and he'll panic. And having Chase Claypool is great. I believe they got enough offensive weapons over there that if everything were clicking right, or he can move a little bit, or he didn't panic or whatever, that they'd be okay. But it just doesn't seem to be happening. So, all right, Niners at Seahawks. Another team you can go, what happened? Did the Seahawks have completely, what are they? They're like 3-9 or something now. Yeah, they're out of it, which is really weird to hear this early in the season.
Yeah.
49ers have been playing better. They had a nice win last week at Minnesota. The Seahawks got beat by Washington by 2, but I think watching that game, I don't think it was ever in doubt that the Seahawks were going to lose. They just don't seem, something just doesn't seem right in Seattle.
No, we were up at Laughlin Ranch doing Monday Night Football up at the ranch, and God, it had to be the most boring game. We give away prizes at every score. People were getting frustrated. I just had to start giving stuff away. I was going to end up having extra prizes to take home because no one was scoring. But yeah, I mean, it was a field goal, and then Washington loses their kicker, and so they went for 2 every time after that. It bit him once on the Seattle ran it all the way back 100 yards for the the 2-point conversion technically, but it was just an ugly game. I mean, there was nothing exciting about the game at all. There was Seahawks fans up at Laughlin Ranch, and there was Washington fans up at Laughlin Ranch, and I mean, there was no hooting, no hollering, no nothing. Everyone
On
was
either
just
side.
sitting there watching the game like, are you kidding me? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can say, you know, Wilson went out with his finger issues, and they had the other quarterback, but I mean, if you got a quarterback that's making millions of dollars as a backup quarterback that can't step in and lead that team and do his job, because the bottom line is your backup quarterback, that's what it is, man. You got to be able to step in and lead that team and command the respect of the team and give them the same respect that you're requesting of them and go in and make something happen, and they haven't been able to do it. Now, Wilson's back. I still don't really think Wilson's the same. It was weird. He didn't look mobile. He only rolled out a few times in that game, but it just, they were getting to him. You know, Washington was getting to him. And Washington isn't a smack 'em up defense.
Without
Yeah.
Chase Young, they don't have anybody.
And you know, they were putting a lot of pressure. They were in the backfield, and they were covering receivers. You know, you had a couple of big plays to Lockett and Brown and Metcalf, but you had nothing that was
Sustainable.
huge. You know, the garbage time touchdown in the end of the game, the pass over the middle of the field was the most exciting thing they did, but it was too little, too late. And you know, was the defense? They already knew they won. I mean, they knew the game was over. There was only seconds left on the clock at that score. So yeah, I mean, the Seahawks aren't what they used to be. And we think about it. You look back when the days of the Legion of Boom. You know, none of the defense is there anymore. I mean, they've either broken up, they've gone to other teams, been traded away, or they're retired.
Just got old.
Yeah.
Well, they're facing a 49ers team that has been playing really well as well. So even if Seahawks were playing the way they had played at the beginning of the year, where you know, they were throwing 60-yard bombs to Lockett every other play, they're facing a 49ers team that's been playing great lately.
And this is another name that I always butcher, Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk. Yeah. I mean, the guy's he's been money for them. He's been consistent. He's their go-to guy right now. If they need a big play, he's you know, dependable. You can count on him to come through when you need him. Garoppolo's look better. Never thought I'd hear myself say that.
Yeah.
But Garoppolo's looked better. He's looked a lot more patient back there. He's waiting for stuff to happen rather than the panic mode. And he's using his checkdowns. He's running through his passing tree, and he's looking for the open man.
I'm wondering if earlier in the year if he was looking over his shoulder at Trey Lance the whole time, going, "Oh, this could, you know, at any point if I don't." And now he's just like, "I'm just gonna let it fly." And
especially with his history, you know, especially with Garoppolo's past. I mean, the same thing, you know, the consistency of the guy. So yeah, I mean, you got that shadow sitting right there over your shoulder, waiting to take your job. So.
I'm familiar. All right, so we're both on the Niners, right?
Niners.
All right. Monday Night Football. This should be a good one. You should have a great turnout up there.
I think this is good. Well, you're going to be there, right?
I will be there.
Okay.
Patriots at Bills. The Bills, you know, they smoked the Saints last week, but that's not a big deal. But the Patriots have they beat Tennessee 36-13. So they smoked Tennessee. We thought that would be a good close game, and it wasn't. And the Patriots have climbed up to one of the top teams in the AFC as well. They're leading their division. They seem to be clicking on all cylinders. I was reading something today. Somebody said that Patriots have been the best team in the NFL for the last 6 weeks. I don't agree, but he's an expert, and it's kind of hard to fight with the way that they've been playing for sure, especially you know, that running duo that they have back over there. So it should be a good game. The Bills are favored by 3. They're the home team,
right?
So that's probably basically saying they're an even team. Do you think that Bill Belichick has something special over there for Josh Allen? He put together some sort of way of shutting down Josh Allen?
It's going to be a tough one. I mean, Josh Allen right now is one of, and you never would have thought it, but he's probably one of the elite quarterbacks this year. I mean, he's been producing bigger numbers than just about anybody in the league. Consistency, though. If you watch the guy, I mean,
with Josh Allen, you mean?
Josh Allen, constant consistency. I haven't seen the guy truly have a bad game yet. Have they lost a few games? Sure, but I haven't seen him have a bad game. His consistency is there. He's patient. He's not afraid to run. I mean, he's proven that time and time again. He's not afraid on, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9. If he doesn't see something develop quick, he'll go for it. He'll take off.
And he's a tough guy. He can take.
Oh yeah.
I just hope that continues, that he stays healthy like that.
No, I would, me personally, I'd stick with the Bills on this one. I just think that they've got a little bit more. As far as the Patriots, I think their turning point was, changing quarterback.
Yeah.
Changing quarterback, let him get a couple games under his belt, let him get a little more comfortable back there and see what the NFL speed looks like versus the college speed. And, it's kind of proven. You and I talked about it in the very beginning of the season. It's, once you give that quarterback that a little bit of time in the saddle and you don't, okay, he's not getting it done, yank him. You may have to sacrifice a game or two, and that's kind of what they did. But his consistency with them has been good ever since.
So you're saying that Belichick might know what he's talking about?
I would definitely say so. I would definitely say he does, but I would still, my opinion on that one, I would still go with the Bills.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I mean, I think the Bills are the better team. Belichick is so good at game planning to specifically take away your strength.
Yeah.
I don't know that Josh Allen is the strength. I know that he's a good quarterback. They got a great running game. It's pretty hard for me on that one. I think that I would lean towards the Bills, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it went the other way by 10 points either. Because like you said, their team, they've lost some ones, and not necessarily Josh Allen's fault, the Bills. But they've had some performances where they lost to the Jags.
Yeah.
Where you just go,
how?
Yeah, how does that happen? So, all right, your boys are hosting the Washington football team. Washington at the Raiders. We already talked about Raiders beat the Cowboys in the close game. Washington edged the Seahawks. I don't know that that was a Washington game as much as it was a Seahawk loss.
Right.
But one thing we know is that Washington's won 3 in a row. Okay, that's great. I don't think that Washington's secondary can keep up with Derek Carr. When Derek Carr loves to throw the ball, you got some killer weapons over there. I told you my favorite tight end in the league is your guy.
Yeah. He's out this week.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, Waller's out this week, so you're going to be looking at Moreau, who's done well. A little insight, talking to someone from the team. They are telling me that a part of the game plan for this week is going to be a 2-headed horse. They are going to be running Carr and Mariota.
Really?
We're running 2 quarterbacks this week. And
well, that's interesting.
So this is coming from an inside source on the team, so I can't tell you 100% that it's true, but this is a rumor that made it my way, that they do plan on running Mariota a little bit this week, and they're game planning to change it up on Washington quite a bit. But, you got Deshaun Jackson, who it's his birthday today also. Oh. So happy birthday, Deshaun.
Happy birthday, Deshaun.
But yeah, it's Deshaun Jackson, had a breakout game last week, had the deep ball for a guy of, now I don't know if he's 37 or 38 as of today, but for the age that the guy is, still got the speed. Now I will tell you another insight that talking to someone was that they also told me that they're looking to mix him up more in the short game. They've been really using
Deshaun Jackson?
Deshaun Jackson. Yeah. They've been using him basically as kind of their deep threat since he got here. Yeah. And they want to start using him a little bit more on the underneath stuff. Send Zay Jones deep. You got Renfro. That's the big thing with the Raiders right now, and that's where I think Washington's going to struggle, is I don't think their defense is going to be able to prepare to hang with 5 receivers. So, the Raiders right now have Waller, Moreau, Zay Jones, Edwards, Jackson, and Renfro, and then you got Drake and Jacobs. And now if you're going to run a two-headed horse out of that backfield, it's going to be a tough one. But Waller being out, you're going to have Moreau in. You're still going to have four other receivers to get the ball to. The offensive line, the line's been stepping up a little bit more. They've been giving Carr a little bit more time. Carr right now statistically is the #1 rated quarterback in the NFL by numbers. A part of that does have to do with Mahomes was off last week. He had a bye. So Carr was able to go from the number 4 rank to #1 rank. He passed everybody else, including Rodgers. But I mean, the stats are there. The guy, he's consistent. He's getting the ball downfield. He's getting the ball into his receivers' hands.
All right, so let
Problem
me
with
ask
us
you
is
this.
turnovers.
Let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
The guy that's going to be tasked with shutting down cars, Jack Del Rio,
Correct.
former coach for the Raiders.
Yeah.
How much weight do you put in the fact that the coach on the other sideline is somebody that used to coach over here and coach this guy, this
I
quarterback?
don't, because you're looking at, if you had the same offensive line, then I would say, yeah. He knows the tendencies. He knows that type of stuff. I don't think Carr is the same quarterback he was when Del Rio was there. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I still think sometimes Carr's a little too gun shy. Ever since he got injured, I think he doesn't take the chances he needs to take going for first down sometimes. But then again, you almost get scared when Carr takes off for a first down, because we had 2 games in a row where he lost the ball going into the end zone. But I don't think it's going to play a huge factor. I mean, Del Rio knows a little bit of the tendencies, but he doesn't know the offensive line and what the offensive line's ability is, and it's not the same guys that he had there when he was there. I think that I like Gruden, but I think that they have probably one of the best coaching staffs right now that they've had. I love the fact that head coach isn't a coordinator. He's not calling the offense or the defense. I love the fact that they're letting Carr call quite a bit of the game from the field. What's going to happen this week if they do in fact run Mariota as well and switch it up in there? Who will be calling it? Is Carr going to be calling the plays from the sideline, or is Carlson going to be calling them? So we'll see. But yeah, going back to the game itself, I don't think Washington's defense is going to be able to hang with everything that the Raiders are going to be throwing at them. You basically have 6 potential guys that are going to be moving the ball, not including Carr or Mariota.
Yeah, the running attack, I love the running attack, and I don't think as the way Carr's been playing this year, I don't think Washington will be able to match up against their passing game at all. So, and when you don't have Chase Young over there chasing down the quarterback, there's really no
And you got Gibson, and then you've got McLaurin, and those are really your 2 threats for Washington. And so you got one passing threat, and you got 1 running threat. And if you can handle those guys right there, that's 90% of the time the ball's going to one of those 2 guys.
Yeah, if they can handle Dak Prescott, they can handle Taylor Heineke for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Cardinals at Bears. Cardinals were on a bye last week. The Bears, you had that close game against the Lions on Thanksgiving. They're expecting that Kyler Murray will be back. He had a couple weeks, and then he had the bye week, so they're expecting that he's going to be back. Justin Fields is supposed to be back this week for Andy Dalton, although it doesn't appear that either one of them gave a big burst to the team, lift to the team on either side. So I don't know that really matters. If the Cardinals play the way that the Cardinals play, with Kyler Murray back in there, this should be a blowout, right?
Oh yeah, I don't see the Bears defense going to be able to handle the Cardinals, and the Cardinals defense plays a very good, well spread on the field, and I don't see the Bears getting a whole lot of production out of them. I mean, and the Bears have some of their guys back right now. They are healthy, but I still don't. I'm reading what you got over there. I think that's funny. Cardinals were on bye, and the Bears kind of were too, since they played the Lions. But yeah, I mean, the Cardinals are coming back rested. Yeah. I mean, they've had an opportunity to kind of heal up, give themselves that, and they kind of got it perfect time, right in mid-season. Some people have their bye week too early, and some get it too late. They kind of got it perfect, dead on in the middle of the season, and I think they're just going to come back and kind of get back into that form, that early season form that they had, and just keep going. And I don't think the Bears are going to be able to stop them.
Right now, they're the number 1 seed. They're a half game ahead of the Green Bay Packers. And
for a third place quarterback.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
The speed round. You had double points for these.
All right.
Buccaneers at Falcons.
Buccaneers.
Even without Antonio Brown, who got suspended today, and their DB that got suspended, don't matter.
Brown hasn't done a whole lot anyway. I mean, he's made some big plays for him, but I don't think it's going to be a big enough factor to change the outcome.
Yeah, Falcons are not good. Broncos at Chiefs.
This could be a fantastic game right here. You know, it's a league AFC West game, so it means something to both of them. The Broncos are trying to hold on to the bottom spot and gain some ground. They just beat the Chargers last week, another AFC West team. Chiefs also had a bye last week, so they're coming back rested. I'd put this one to the Chiefs. They're coming back, and everybody, Hilaire's back. Everybody's back. They're healthy.
Yeah, I think that the Chiefs are the better team, so I'm going to stick with them.
Yep.
Jags at Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, that's not even
No discussion.
I mean, the Rams haven't been playing very well.
Not
Matthew
as good
Stafford
as-
hasn't
yeah.
been playing very well, but they're
Right.
certainly good enough to whoop the Jags,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I think so too. And then we have Colts at Texans. Colts are 9.5-point favorites. Other than Jonathan Taylor running the ball for the Colts, is there any reason to tune in and watch this game?
They don't really have a whole lot. They just kind of, last week they didn't really do much, and then they got the ball into Taylor's hands in the second half. And
Let him chew up the clock
you know,
and ground out the yards.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I mean, Taylor's they're hoping and prayer right now for that team's success.
Wisconsin boy.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Jonathan Taylor. Let's go red.
There you go.
All right. Well, that's it. I think we got everything.
Yep, that is it.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Remember, this is brought to you by Anderson Ford of Bullhead City. We hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget Monday night up at Laughlin Ranch. Matt will be up there handing out gifts to everybody in the place.
Absolutely. Last week we had so many that we weren't able to give them all out.
What do we have Monday night? Patriots and Bills. That'll be
Patriots
some
and Bills.
scoring
That'll
for
be a
sure
good
in that.
game. That'll be a good game.
Go get yourself some raffle tickets, have some grub. It's a good time. Nice
Absolutely.
packed place. All right, then we're going to take off. Thank you, everyone. We'll
See you Monday.